The Just Culture community presents the North Carolina Just Culture Journey.
We have the conversation now. 2 years ago, we didn't even have a conversation. 2 years ago, it was, who was the person who made that mistake, and let's discipline them post haste or get rid of them.
It's typical for the state surveyors to go in, and if there's an error, the nurse is terminated.
There was never any understanding of the situation or circumstances that led up to the error.
There was one board member who almost could not control himself and said, "So what happened to this employee? I hope they were written up."
It's easier in their mind to get rid of her and show that that is their corrective process than it was to try to identify ways to work with the individual and to try to figure out why. Was this a systems issue?
No effort to even probe beyond a very superficial and cursory view. And the consequence was that we had a high propensity to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again and never understand why.
And another physician on the board said, "No, I know this employee. This is an excellent employee. This employee just made a mistake, an oversight. And do we have the appropriate systems in place so good people don't make mistakes?" And at that point I thought, it's starting. The cascade is on its way.
7 years ago, the North Carolina Board of Nursing launched its PREP program, the Practitioner Remediation Enhancement Partnership.
I was fortunate enough to be part of the North Carolina Board of Nursing program. And my whole thought process with the Board of Nursing in North Carolina changed.
It was the start of a statewide initiative with the healthcare community of North Carolina to find a better path for patient safety and a better path for those who make the commitment to serve as North Carolina's healthcare providers.
When I first started out in nursing, it's like policy procedures were very strict. You were, if you made a mistake, you were out of there.
I used to be nervous, concerned when I called the Board of Nursing, because I thought, wow, they're looking at these mistakes that we're calling in and saying, what is that CNO doing? She must be just not paying attention to anything. She's got too many errors at that hospital. What is going on over at Fry Regional Medical Center?
What we had in our policies and procedures was so final that it didn't allow any room for the human factor.
We started separating out those issues that were practice issues and those things that were really investigative or discipline type issues.
In 2006, the North Carolina Hospital Association Center for Hospital Quality and Patient Safety launched the first of its Just Culture collaboratives, a partnership with a group of leading hospitals within North Carolina.
It really struck a note with me. We do this every single day with employees in the middle management position. They're at the sharp end dealing with errors, and becoming a learning organization will go ahead and help employees stay safe and organizations be safe.
The vision of the North Carolina Center for Hospital Quality and Patient Safety is to lead North Carolina hospitals to become the safest, highest quality hospitals in the United States. To help accomplish this goal, the Quality Center has 3 foundational elements: establishing a culture of safety, fostering teamwork and communication, and designing reliable care processes. The most foundational of these elements is establishing a culture of safety.
Many may say that it will take longer than a year, or it may take longer than a year to get your system to a just culture, or longer than 2 years. So what we try to do is offer as a guide a timeline of structured events to help healthcare organizations go through their journey.
Organizations around the country have been embarking upon the Just Culture journey, from regulators to regulated institutions to the offices of solo practitioners. This video gives us a glimpse of that journey within the state of North Carolina. It's the North Carolina journey to a more open, fair, and just culture. Some call just culture an intervention. Some call it a journey. Some call it philosophy. We, for now, we'll call it a destination. It happens one person at a time, one regulatory leader, one hospital manager, one nurse. It will take any organization years to get there, Yet the benefits start as soon as the journey begins. Some come to the journey to build a more open learning culture. Others come to the journey to be more fair to their predictably fallible employees. Others come because they simply believe it is the right thing to do.
What they stated during the presentation was everything that you felt in your heart was right.
It was an ideology that made sense. It was an ideology and a path that really did balance behavior choices and system problems, and really not looking at blaming people, but trying to figure out where the accountability fell.
12 markers are strongly tied to the notion and practice of a just culture. These are the markers identified within the Just Culture Benchmarking Survey, and a good model to describing here what the Just Culture destination looks like. Values and expectations. Every employee understands what is important to the organization and what level of expectations the organization has set in its commitment to produce desired outcomes.
It allows folks, all our employees, to know what we're talking about. It focuses us back to the mission and vision of what we're here for, which is patient care.
System design. Every employee understands the role they play in the continual reassessment and improvement of the systems we design together.
Disciplining our employees did not fix the problem. We still had the same problem because we weren't addressing our processes and systems and their design and redesign. We were looking more at the individual.
Management subordinate coaching. Managers have a willingness to coach employees they see drift into at-risk behavioral choices. It's not disciplinary action. It's instead the critical conversation that separates variation in practice as the accepted norm from every employee seeing that there are safe ways to perform every task.
Previously, in a non-just culture environment, everybody was afraid because no matter what they did, they were in trouble. They're more receptive. They're not as scared to take and open up for different things. So it's really turned things around as far as people being more open to the supervisor and understanding that management is more consistent and fair across the board.
Peer-to-peer coaching. Peers have a willingness to coach fellow employees they see beginning to drift into at-risk behaviors. It's a duty owed to each other, the obligation to help one another stay in that safe place.
Everyone's accountable, and it's not something that, this doesn't apply to me or my department. We're all a part of this, and that if anyone sees things that aren't being done correctly, they need to address it and not just push it to the side and hope it'll go away.
Outcomes. It's the ability for every employee to see that the rate of adverse events is heading in the right direction across all of the important organizational values, from patient safety to privacy, from employee safety to cost control.
Because we are looking at processes before they occur, and with that we do have goals in the organization set at patient satisfaction as well as employee turnover and mortality rates, and we're seeing all those indicators going into a positive direction.
It's a patients certainly feel better about this hospital and the quality of care that we deliver.
Our safety has improved. I do know that from a risk perspective, enterprise-wide, that we have less claims.
Open reporting. It's a willingness of staff to report hazards and near misses, not waiting for adverse events to occur, but knowing that the safety report can be the first step in preventing the next adverse event.
Employees are more likely to report errors rather than trying to conceal things or being fearful of reporting errors. That has helped us to improve processes and systems if they are willing to come forward and tell us what they think may be contributing to those errors, knowing that they're not going to be disciplined for bringing forth those errors.